folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. It's another Conspiracy Theories with Travis. Yes, it's always a fun time to try to figure these out and then later on get proof that we're correct. Anyways, yes, put your tin foil, aluminum foil hats on, because it's going to get crazy. We may upset some of you. I just may say the wrong thing and step on your toes, and because things are so divisive right now. This road is rough today. What if the United States government, Biden administration, is either A, encouraging, or B, just kind of sitting back and, it's going to freak people out. I don't have my hands on the wheel. Sitting back and just letting Israel do whatever it wants to Gaza. What if they're doing that with purpose, not necessarily because the Biden administration is so supportive of Israel or anything like that, but what if there's another plan? A plan to let Israel do so much damage over there that it would force many of the people in the Middle Eastern region, Iran, Turkey, Syria, all these others, to finally act on Israel. What if the intent is to get them to do a full-scale invasion, or even, as crazy as it sounds, drop a nuclear weapon on Israel? And it doesn't even, I'm not even talking about one that would wipe Israel off the face of the map. I'm talking about even just a small tactical nuke. What if the plan is to do as much damage as possible to just enrage the rest of the Middle Eastern Muslim world, to get them into a corner where they just have to. They're so fed up that they're going to directly attack Israel? What if that's the plan? Because let's think about this. If that happened, the United States and several other countries would very, very immediately retaliate in a very severe way, and I wouldn't put it past anyone retaliating with nukes. So if Iran, let's create a hypothetical situation. If Iran did even a smaller nuke, use it on Israel, I can easily see the United States dropping nukes on Iran, which would then in turn cause Russia and China to be involved, and it would just spiral out of control into a big global war, nuclear holocaust kind of thing. But it also has the effect of, if they allow Israel, if they're just encouraging it or not trying to slow it down, of what Israel is doing in Gaza. And I'm not saying it, I'm not even going to take a position of right or wrong. There's atrocities on both sides. But, and I don't care what you can get mad at me either way, because everybody does anymore, it seems like. Everyone's got feelings that they want to wear on their sleeve and get hurt all the time, instead of just being tough and being okay with someone that says something you don't agree with. But anyways, it would also create the effect that it's happening right now in the United States, but even more so, where it would create a lot of chaos here on the U.S. soil, where there's more and more people dividing in the left and the right, and the pro-Palestinian versus the pro-Israel, to the point that there's actually now violence in the street. A man was killed over this. We'll probably see more and more and more. There was supposedly a man today that was outside of Congress with an AR-15. I have no idea why. I haven't even looked. I just saw the headline, and I haven't done any research whatsoever if this guy was, Islamic, pro-Palestinian, pro-Israel, pro-something else. Who knows? I don't know. I'm sure all of you will let me know in the comments. But wouldn't that work out really good for the globalist plan to allow or to encourage, and it's very possible that Israel, at least the leadership of Israel, is playing its part knowing what it's doing. Not just that it's, you're just going to let us take the gloves off on Gaza, or it could be that they know that they're playing a part. I don't know. But it would certainly work out really well for the globalists if a scenario like that happened, that it would force the world into a very cataclysmic kind of war. Because I can't think of any other place on this planet that would stir up so much anger and emotions and retaliation as dropping a nuclear weapon on Israel. I think it would probably stir up more than if a nuclear weapon was dropped on the United States, honestly. Now, I'm not saying that this is all going to happen, but it's quite possible. You know, get to the and then what happens after that? If you have the Middle East, including Israel, nearly or virtually destroying themselves, then these globalists can step back and say, see, this is what religion does. This is what all this extremist religious ideology does. We've dealt with this for thousands of years, the whole planet. That there's just constantly genocides and wars and extermination of people based on religion. And that's why we need to purge this religious ideology from our society. Could that happen? I don't know. It could. I think it's a pretty decent theory, if I do say so myself. We are watching a lot of things that to some it wouldn't make sense, but to others, like you and I, we see it as just everything kind of falling into place. It's tragic. There are innocent lives being lost all the time, not just there, but all over. I saw, was it this morning? It was somewhere in Africa, somewhere in the African continent. I can't remember where, but some extremist Muslims that are supporters of ISIS or Hamas or both or whatever, killed like 800 people in some African country, and I can't remember which one. We see all these kinds of tragedies all the time, that, and some of them we don't see, that really when you step back and look at it, they're playing a part in the plan to give these globalists the justification that they need. In the same way as when you see these mass shootings, or like this guy at Congress waving around an AR-15. And is this some natural, spontaneous thing, or was this kind of somehow orchestrated and encouraged so that the politicians can say, oh, this is why we need to ban guns? I mean, we all know that. We all know that a lot of these happen in that way. You know, then the FBI is like, well, we've been talking to this guy for 2 months. It's amazing that he just decided to do this. I think a lot of these actions that we're seeing around the world for quite a while, and I've made this case many times, but they are just a big part of this big plan. And number one, we have to see through the psyops. We have to see through the psychological manipulation. Oh, you got to support, the Palestinians because Israel is exterminating them. Oh, you got to support Israel because, they're the only ally that we have, and they were attacked, and the Bible says to support Israel, and it's back and forth, and it's back and forth. We got to support Ukraine because, they're our ally, and, they were attacked by, this big brutish Russians, or, oh, Russia, you got to support Russia because, they were lied to and deceived in the whole Ukraine deal for years now, and we, did them wrong, and it's back and forth, and it keeps everyone so busy picking sides and being divisive and getting manipulated by all of this really psychological damage, that we stop and we forget to stop and say, wow, but what is this in the end doing to us? How is this pulling us apart? How is this weakening us? How is this strengthening the big government, the big brother? How is this moving the game further down the line in favor of the globalists, because we're so caught up into what's going on. It's not like we're all watching a big gladiator match. All the stuff that's happened for the past few years. It's a big gladiator match, and we're all this side or that side, and we're all enraged, and we're all, just we hate it, we love it all at the same time, but yet haven't stopped 5 minutes to realize that while we're watching the gladiator match, the government's taking everything from us behind. We have to see through all this and realize that this is all a big show, folks. It's all a big game. Are there bad guys and good guys? Are there innocents and guilty? There's all of that and more. But in the end, it's all a big orchestrated game. And not to get caught up in it, and to see through the possibilities of things that could happen. And this little conspiracy theory scenario that I spoke of when I started, who knows if that's what will happen. It's possible. So is many other scenarios possible. I think to me, the greater message is that we aren't in control of what's going on. I mean, I know that God is ultimately in control, but He's in control in the way that He's allowing these evil people to do what they think is right, what they want to do, because they know it's like, give them enough rope and they'll hang themselves. See, I think that's the best scenario, likely scenario that's happening. And so you and I, we're just pawns in this. And there's no one on the left or right that really cares about us. It's all about money and power and control and clout and all this kind of stuff. And that's why we have to turn our focus inward when we're looking at our preparations and circling the wagons, because we're not going to get any assistance from the outside. There's not anyone that's going to line up and help you. I mean, the extent of the help is going to be to line you up into a FEMA camp sometime. So when we see all of this stuff happening, we see the world move closer and closer to World War III, or even nuclear war, or banking collapse, or currency collapse, or all of the above, and more. We have to realize that it's all being done to control and manipulate us. And don't get caught up in it. Don't get so blinded by the emotion of this side versus this side, or this versus that, or whatever it is. See through that and realize that it's all a game to control and manipulate you and to take over. And don't let them happen. Don't let it happen to you. You've got to be as self-sufficient as possible. The less you're dependent upon them, the less they're able to control you. And that's the whole point of what we do. You need to be getting your houses in order, preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.